What is going on, guys? So I know it's been a minute since we've released a new video, but I think the wait will be worth it. In the meantime, I've been building a whole new workspace for myself just to give myself some more room and get out of the old cram space that I had used for this. On top of that, I've been, of course, busy putting together the Etsy orders, which I cannot thank each and every one of you enough for purchasing any of my products. Really helps me keep these projects going, helps me keep the RC hobby alive here, and just keep pushing further and further, trying to develop new parts, new products that you guys will like more and more. So thank you very much for anyone who has purchased anything from me. Also, thank you to all the subscribers out there. Love to see the analytics, love to see how much we are growing here with the Cinemoto channel. Glad to see that people enjoy the content that I'm putting out, and I love interacting with you guys in the comments, so can't wait to hear more from you after this video. Today's video is going to be focused on a 10 scale, which I know is the second one in a row, so don't get too concerned because we got the new SCX-24 Gladiator coming, and we're certainly going to do a build on that and plenty of footage. So stay tuned if you're a die-hard 24th scale, but you know, the 24 scales have now evolved into the 10 scales for me. I now have two of the SCX 10.2s, and I really love building those and making them my own, just like the smaller scales. So let's dive right into it. Alrighty guys, so let's dive right into this project. So the bare bones, the base of this project is an SCX 10.2 raw builder's kit. This was something I picked up after I picked up the Honcho you saw in the last video, just because I wanted more of a dedicated, you know, scale rig, and I've got the tracks on it now, which don't worry, I'm going to talk plenty about here. But so I built this from the ground up, and I would strongly recommend you do the same if you wanted to get into the 10 scales. Building your own really just lets you understand the ins and the outs of these vehicles. You put together every single individual component, and it just helps you know what's going on. Plus, you know you built it, so you know it's built well. To dive right into this one here, what we have is a Hobbywing Axe R2 brushless system. This is the 2800 kilovolt variant, I believe. And on the rear here, I have installed some cantilever suspension, which if you're not familiar, what it does, instead of running a shock in a vertical position, it puts it alongside the frame rail so we can clear the bed on this, this beautiful hard body that I printed. So that's basically it. It is a pretty much stock raw builder's kit with the brushless kit, and then a Tactic servo that I pulled out of the other SCX-10 that I have after upgrading that servo. I did swap the links out on it for some metal ones. I think I had the plastic ones on here from the Honcho, but regardless, awesome little build. Now what we have on the bottom here is much more interesting. Of course you guys are familiar with my 24th scale tracks, but we now have scaled them back up and got them running on the SCX-10, which I'm super excited about. I've been running with a local group on the weekends as well, and I ran these for about 2.5 hours last week with no issues at all in some fresh snow. We finally got some snow here in Northwest Indiana, so I've been having an absolute blast in it. That's about it for this here. The only custom parts on it, besides the tracks of course, which I did 3D print the entire things besides the bearings and the bolts, is this little plate here, which just houses some magnets so we can mount the bed on. I really fell in love with the magnet mounting when I saw the idea online, and I just knew I had to do it for this body. So let's move on to the body. So first off, I wanted to show you this body. You saw some running videos of this body with the local trail group, of course, that we go out on Sundays, have an absolute blast doing some crawling together. But this one was the first one that I built. It turned out very well. I was pretty happy with it. It is a concept Jeep, which Jeep only built one of a year or two ago. It's based off the Gladiator, but it's a single cab with a 6-foot bed, so it's called the J6. J for Jeep, 6 for the 6-foot bed. Really fell in love with the concept and super stoked that I found some files. Scale Builders Guild, of course, he's the one who turned me onto these files, and I just knew I had to build one myself. So this was the first one that I printed, and overall I was happy with it. It was my first hard body that I put together, but once it was done, there was a few things that left to be desired. The back of this body, the way it comes, has this big gap here, which can get hung up on a lot of things. And yes, it is certainly more scale, but I did want to bob the back of it, just like Matt did on Scale Builders Guild as well. Also, the paint quality. I'm sure you can see that there. I did put a two-part clear coat on this, but there was a lot of dust floating around where I was doing it, so just wasn't super stoked with that. Regardless, had a blast building this, learned a ton. So even though I did end up building another one, this was an absolute learning experience, and I am very happy with this still. So we'll push on to the next one, which I just finished a day or two ago, which is this right here. So what I did is I modified the STL files to shorten that gap between the rear of the vehicle, the rear of the fender, as well as the bed. So you can see here when I have them stood up right next to each other, how much longer the gap is there between that fender and that bumper versus this one. So that really helps with the approach angle on the rear and helps it from getting hung up on things. Secondly, of course, obviously I painted this one blue instead, but I really put a ton of effort into sanding and prepping the body before doing it. You can see that on this one there's gaps here visible from where I had to glue pieces together, or gaps, you know, there and there. I just didn't want to have any of that, so I spent a ton of time sanding and just prepping this body for paint. You can see none of the details that aren't supposed to be there are not. So this is about let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 major pieces in this build. Also, I did make sure that there was no dust around, and I did a much better job on the paint here. It just shines so much better, plus the blue is really cool to see. So that is the build, guys. Super stoked to show this off with you guys, and I actually get to run it again tomorrow. But I'm just going to do a ton of running videos for you here and try to put together a cool edit like the one you saw at the beginning of this video. And also, I just wanted to mention again, stay tuned. More SCX24 content is coming. I got the JT Gladiator on order already, on pre-order. And also, last but not least, I did want to ask you guys, would any of you be interested in sets of tracks for the SCX10 like this? If you are, please leave me a comment down below. Just trying to take a poll and see if you guys would be interested. Price point would be around $200 to $225 a set, just because they are incredibly labor intensive and take a ton of printing and materials. So let me know if at that price range for something like this, that is what you would be interested in. So thanks again for coming by. If you like the content I'm putting out there, it helps me a ton if you subscribe or like the video. Really keeps me going on this stuff. And again, I cannot appreciate each and every one of you enough for supporting me in the videos or the Etsy business. So thanks for coming by. Hope you enjoy these running clips. Had a blast filming them. Thanks again for watching, guys. I really appreciate you coming by and checking out the content. I've been trying to put a lot more effort into the running videos of the vehicles and everything too, so I hope that shines through in this one. Thanks again for coming by. Have a great week.